The moment you stop spending money, you realize how much of your life was never yours to begin with. Day 1. $0. Not a challenge, not a trend, a decision. I emptied my wallet, froze my cards, and gave myself exactly 30 days to survive without spending a single dollar. No coffee, no gas, no groceries bought fresh. Nothing. And what I found on the other side of that discomfort didn't just save me money. It rewired something I didn't even know was broken. Let's start with what $0 actually means. The average American spends $3,405 per month on non-essential purchases. That's over $40,000 a year on things you couldn't name right now if someone put a gun to your head. Subscriptions you forgot about, food that got thrown out, convenience fees for problems that weren't actually urgent. The money isn't disappearing into nothing. You're trading it for something. The question is, what exactly are you trading it for? Day 3 was when it got uncomfortable. You think it's about willpower. It's not. It's about identity. Every time you reach for your wallet and remember you can't, your brain doesn't say, I won't. It says, who am I without this? That's the real experiment, not the money, the self. By day 7, I started mapping every purchase I would have made. Wrote it all down. $4.50 at the coffee shop, $11 for lunch, $17 for something I don't even remember wanting. By the end of week 1, I had spent $0 and not spent $312. $312 in 7 days, on nothing required to survive. Here's the mechanism most people miss, and this is the part worth writing down. Behavioral economists call it the pain of paying. When you use a credit card, your brain processes the transaction with about 40% less emotional resistance than when you hand over physical cash. Digital payments and tap-to-pay have pushed that number even further. You are neurologically wired to feel less loss when the money is invisible. And the entire payment industry knows this. They built the system around your biology. Tap, click, subscribe. The friction isn't gone, you just stopped feeling it. That's the first fracture. You're not bad with money. You're playing a game designed by people who studied your psychology for decades. Day 14. Halfway. Something shifts. Not motivation. Motivation is fragile. Something structural. You stop asking, can I afford this? And start asking, what does this actually cost me? Not the dollar amount, the hours, the trade. That $6 coffee isn't $6. It's 22 minutes of your working life after tax, depending on what you make. Do it every day, and that's 133 hours a year, over 3 full work weeks, spent funding a habit you call small. Every transaction is a trade, and for most ambitious, hardworking people, those trades are invisible, running silently in the background every single day. Day 21. I broke. Not completely. A $2 bottle of water at a gas station because I was exhausted and it was right there. $2. I felt it like a verdict. And in that moment, I understood something ugly. The system isn't built to help you save. It's built to catch you at your weakest moment and make the breach feel insignificant. $2 is nothing. Until it's $2 every day for a year. That's $730. Invested at a 10% average market return over 30 years, that's $12,800. From a water bottle habit. 1. That's when the real question surfaced. By day 30, I had not spent $1,847. Almost $2,000. Sitting there. Money I didn't earn more of. Money I already had. And it became clear. The wealth gap isn't only about income. It's about awareness. The people building serious wealth aren't always earning more than you. They're losing less. They've made the invisible visible. They've weaponized friction. They feel the weight of every transaction, not because they're cheap, but because they understand the trade. And here's where it gets complicated. Because right now you're thinking, good, cut the coffee, track the spending, build discipline. And that's right, that's partially right. But there's something darker underneath that needs to sit with you for a minute. The experiment worked. The numbers don't lie. But when I returned to normal life, 80% of my old spending habits came back within 2 weeks. Not because the discipline failed, because the environment didn't change. Because every app, every store layout, every checkout flow, every one-click purchase is a wall of engineered persuasion. And discipline alone, without structural redesign, is a game you will eventually lose. Every single time. So the trap isn't overspending. The trap is believing that awareness is enough. That watching this, feeling this discomfort, writing down the number, that changes anything. It doesn't. Not without building a system that makes the right choice easier than the wrong one. Automate your savings before you can see the balance. Remove cards from every app. Add friction on purpose. Design your financial life the way they designed the payment system. Except this time, for you. The motif was always there. Every trade you make on behalf of your future self. And your future self doesn't get a vote. They just inherit the outcome. You already know what needs to change. The only question is whether you act before the next invisible transaction happens or after. Money is just recorded decisions.